What is going on, everyone? My name is the California Cougar, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit Amazing Race for you guys. Yes, the premiere of Amazing Race Season 31 is tonight, and so I'm going to be talking about the cast, because what this cast consists of is past Amazing Race teams, contestants from Survivor, and contestants from the show Big Brother. Now, I'm going to be talking more about 8 of these 11 teams because I'm not too familiar with the 3 Big Brother teams, although I am very familiar with one person on one of those teams. So yeah, we'll be talking about that person. And I know Amazing Race, they've casted Big Brother contestants in the past with like Jordan and Jeff, last year's winners. What was their name? Cody and something. I don't remember. But yeah, last season's winners, they were both Big Brother contestants. And then you had, how was it? Oh yeah, Brendan and Rachel, the most infamous one. So yeah. And then there's the Survivor contestants, and we've had a share of those in the past, like Rob and Amber. They're probably the most famous one. And then there's also Ethan and Jenna. They didn't last too long. And then there's Keith and Whitney. They didn't last too long either. But yeah, this season is all about past Amazing Race contestants, Survivor contestants, and Big Brother contestants. So let's get into the 11 teams here. So first off, this is a Big Brother team. So I'm not going to get into them too much because, yeah, I don't really know them. But you got Janelle. You got Janelle Pierzina and Brittany Haynes. And yeah, they were on a past season of Big Brother. Like Janelle was on Big Brother 6 and Big Brother All-Stars and Big Brother 14. And then Brittany was on Big Brother 12 and Big Brother 14. So yeah, not too familiar with them. I don't really know how they did because I never watched Big Brother. So yeah, up next we have Tyler Oakley and Corey Cool, who are previously on The Amazing Race 28. There they are right there. And I believe they finished 3rd place in their season. And they actually did really well. They won several legs, I know that. So they did really well in their past season. So it'll be interesting to see where they land in this season. Now, Tyler Oakley, of course, he's a big YouTube star. I've never really watched his videos, but that's just where I know him from. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. They're best friends. Janelle and Brittany, I think they're also friends. Or something, I don't know. But yeah, Tyler and Corey, they were a fun team to watch. I'll definitely be looking forward to seeing them again. Up next, the first Survivor pairing, Rupert and Laura Bonham, husband and wife, and they're married. They're from Indianapolis. Now they're both on Survivor. Rupert's been on Survivor 4 times, on Pearl Islands, All Stars, Heroes vs. Villains, and Blood vs. Water, the first one. Laura was on the first Blood vs. Water, playing as Rupert's loved one. Now Rupert, he lasted pretty long on his first 3 seasons. Blood vs. Water, he basically sacrificed himself so that his wife could play the game, and he ended up being the first off, which was a big shock to many people, but I mean, he wanted his wife to have a chance to play, so I can kind of see why he essentially sacrificed himself. But yeah, now they're on The Amazing Race, and I'll be interested to see where they go. I've always been a big fan of Rupert, even though like he's not the biggest strategist, but like he was always super fun to watch. Like the pirate, the beard, the tie-dye, and what do you know? He's wearing tie-dye in this picture. So yeah, I'll be interested to see how they end up. Up next, oh boy, this is where I get into a little ranting because of one of these contestants. Alright, so we got Rachel Riley and Elisa Slater, who are sisters from Van Nuys, California. And there they are right there. And now, this is a Big Brother team, so you might be wondering, why are you ranting on them then? Well, alright, so Alyssa was on Big Brother 15. Rachel, let's talk about her. She was the winner of Big Brother 12. She was on Big Brother 13. And then she was on The Amazing Race 20 and the most recent Amazing Race All-Star season. She finished third with her partner Brendan, on both of those seasons. And let me tell you something. She is one of the biggest whiners and complainers I've ever seen run the Amazing Race. And you want to know why? Just watch season 20. That's really all you have to do. Yeah, season 20 is one of the worst seasons of the Amazing Race in my eyes. I thought it was just awful to try and get through. There were so many teams that just argued and bickered with each other. It was a torturous season to watch. I mean, we did have Bopper and Mark that season, thank God, 'cause they were like the bright light, but yeah, we had to deal with Rachel Riley and her constant whining and complaining. And they somehow finished third. Like, how? And like, now they weren't as bad in the All-Star season, but still, like, especially in the second half of that season, Rachel definitely started to go back to her old ways, a lot of whining and complaining. And of course, they cried she cried once they finished third place again. Man, I really hope she doesn't cry nearly as much this season. I mean, she is with a different partner. Maybe that'll change it, but who freaking knows? I mean, the best we can hope for is that these two are out early, although I don't think that's going to happen because Rachel's arguably, like, despite being on a Big Brother team, Rachel's arguably the most experienced of all these racers. Well, I guess maybe not the most experienced, but like she's raced twice already, so this is her third race. Alright, up next, we have Colin Gwynn and Christy Woods, who are life partners from Austin, Texas. There they are right there. Now, they are a previous Amazing Race team, and they were from the Amazing Race Season 5. So this is back in the dark ages of the Amazing Race. Back when, this is, Amazing Race 5, I think that was, the first season that actually made the show popular. And it was partially because of these two. These two, they had a lot of competitive spirit. They won 6 legs, I think, or something like that. They won a lot of legs. And they were always, in the top 3 for, almost every season, or almost every leg. And of course, Colin's infamous blow-ups. He had 2 big ones. One which was in Tanzania when his taxi driver's car, it broke down. His taxi driver was slow driving to the airport. They were trying to get to an airport to get on an earlier flight, but they missed it. And then he didn't want to pay the full $100 fare, so he offered $50. The taxi driver wasn't having any of that. He threatened to press charges, threatened to have Colin arrested. And yeah, it was a pretty crazy moment in that season. And then, of course, you have probably the most famous Amazing Race quote of all time. "My ox is broken." That always made me laugh whenever I rewatched that season. It was a fun season to watch, and these guys were a fun team to watch. Yeah, they did kind of bicker and argue a lot, but at least in the second half of the season. But in the first half of the season, they were super fun. They were friendly with each other. They were always cheering each other on. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they come back. Who knows how many years later now? I think 15 years later or something like that. I don't know. Season 5 was a really long time ago. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they do in this season. See if they can have a similar performance. Ultimately, they finished second in Season 5 behind winners Chip and Kim. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they do. Up next is another Survivor team, and this one is Corinne Kaplan and Eliza Orland. They're friends from Denver, Colorado. Now, this is surprising because Corinne and Eliza, they actually never played Survivor together. Corinne, alright, I guess I'll show you the picture of them. There they are right there. Corinne is from Survivor Gabon and Survivor Caramoan, while Eliza was on Survivor Vanuatu and Survivor Micronesia. Now, Corinne, she owned up to being the witch of the season. She fully owned up to that. She was a mean girl, but she was a pretty fun mean girl to watch. and she aligned with all the mean guys, basically, like Randy and Charlie and Marcus, like all the big guys of that season to try and get herself further. Ultimately, she finished 7th in Gabon thanks to Crystal Cox and Sugar and let's see, I forgot who else voted her out. Maddie, Susie, Ken, they all turned against her. So yeah. And then she did Cara Moen. She was ultimately ousted at the merge by Philip Shepard. So yeah, she didn't do quite as well. She was known for her alliance with Malcolm in that season. Now, Eliza's a little bit different. Eliza, she was another mean girl, kind of. Not as much as Corinne. But yeah, she was one of the younger girls on Survivor Vanuatu. She made it all the way to 4th place. Like, she flip-flop alliances several times. Like, one time she was in an all-women's alliance, and then she and Julie both defected and went over to Chris, and then basically they took over the game from there. But yeah, she ended up finishing 4th. And then in Survivor Micronesia, I think she was the merge boot in that season as well. So yeah, I think she was the merge boot. She's famous for her it's an effing stick line, because she played a fake immunity idol made by Ozzy. That was a stick. So, yeah, like, I'm curious to see how these two will work together. I mean, I liked Corinne a lot in Gabon and Cara Moen. A lot of people didn't like her. I personally liked her because she knew exactly the type of person she was. Eliza, kind of mixed on her. But, yeah, again, we'll see how well they do. Up next is another Big Brother team. You got Nicole Franzel and Victor Arroyo. There they are right there. And Nicole was on Big Brother 16. She actually won that season. And then both Nicole and Victor were on Big Brother 18. And they're both dating now. They're from Michigan. So yeah, I'm not too familiar with either of them because they've never competed on a previous season. And again, I don't watch Big Brother. Maybe I probably should start watching it. Maybe I will sometime, but I don't know. Not too familiar with them. Moving on to the next team, we have Art Velez and John James JJ Carroll. So Art and JJ from season 20. They're friends from Temecula and San Marcos, California. There they are right there. And yeah, they were also on season 20, like Rachel. And they were actually enemies of Brendan and Rachel. They did not like each other. Rachel called them bullies a lot. But Art and JJ were a competitive team. I think they finished 2nd that season, and they had a few first place finishes as well. So yeah, they're definitely one of the more competitive teams. Not really sure why it took them this long to come back. Same with Colin and Christy. Not sure why it took casting so long to bring them back. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they do this season, and especially like how they react toward Rachel being in the race as well, because they did not like each other. So yeah, I'm sure we'll see some drama on that. Alright, up next, you got Becca Droz and Floyd Pierce. There they are right there. They're friends from Boulder and Highlands Ranch, Colorado, and they were previously on season 29, which was the season of strangers, as I like to call it, because it was originally 22 strangers, and then they had to team up with just random people. So you basically just had random people teaming up, and Becca and Floyd just ended up together. They were known as Team Fun, and boy were they fun to watch. They always had positive energy, lots of high spirits, even when they were not doing well in legs, even when Floyd lost his passport at the end of that one leg. Luckily he got it back and they got to continue. But yeah, they never let their fun meter dip down too low. Like, yeah, Becca always had that fun meter on there. That's why they were called Team Fun. They just had a lot of fun, and they were a lot of fun to watch. So we'll see how much fun they have on this season when they're competing against other former racers and Survivor and Big Brother contestants. I'm sure they will find ways to have fun, because that's what they do. That's what Team Fun does. So yes, I'm excited to see them back. I hope they do well. And then up next you have Chris Hammonds and Brett LaBelle, friends from Moore, Oklahoma and Dedham, Massachusetts. And they were previously on Survivor Millennials vs. Gen X, a recent season. There they are right there. And yeah, they were known for their alliance with each other. At the beginning of the game, they were also aligned with Paul, but after Paul was voted out, they pretty much had to rely only on each other. Eventually, I think Chris ended up in 10th place, I think. 10th or 11th. I actually don't remember the exact placement, but yeah, he was a pretty early merge boot. Brett ended up in 5th place. Actually, I think Chris was 11th. I think Jessica was 10th. But yeah, and then Brett was in 5th place. So yeah, they were both on the jury. They were always close allies with each other. So I mean, they don't really have as big of an arc as some of these other contestants like Rupert and Laura, or even Eliza and Corinne. But I mean, they were friends that played on a Survivor season together. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. And then last but certainly not least, this is the team that probably has the most experience on The Amazing Race. Leo, Timori, and Jamal Zedron. I think that's how you pronounce it. They're cousins from Pasadena, California and Houston, Texas. There they are right there. And they were previously on The Amazing Race 23 and the most recent season of The Amazing Race All-Stars, which was season 24. And they call themselves the Afghanimals. I like to refer to them as the 4th place animals because they finished 4th on both of their seasons. So yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they do. I mean, I know that they're probably going to be the most competitive team. I think they could be the early favorites to win because they have the most experience racing, and they're also 3-time U-turn survivors, which has never happened. Like, about 50% of the time a team gets U-turned, that team ends up getting eliminated. And like the other 50, it's usually a double U-turn, and the team that was U-turned first gets there, and they get to use that second U-turn to save themselves. But yeah, Leo and Jamal, they're 2-time U-turns or 3-time U-turn survivors. Yeah, they were never eliminated by a U-turn, so I think that's a big accomplishment for them. And they're definitely going to be hungry for that top 3 finish. And they're going to want to win more than ever. They're a super competitive team. And they're a lot of fun to watch, too. So, yeah, I'm definitely excited to see them come back once again. And, yeah, for the most part, I'm excited for some of these teams. Art and JJ, I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of them. But, I mean, I didn't really hate them. Yeah, Rachel's the one that I'm least excited to see, of course. And then, yeah, Becca and Floyd, I'm excited to see them back. And then, of course, Rupert and Laura, excited to see how they do on the race. Liza and Corinne. And then Colin and Christy, I'm definitely excited to see how an old school team will do in this newer version of The Amazing Race with U-turns and stuff. Because back then they didn't have U-turns or anything like that. And then, of course, Tyler and Corey, they were a fun team. So, yeah, I'll be looking forward to this season. I mean, I'm probably not as excited as I was for some of the All-Star seasons, but I'm still excited. Like, they're not necessarily my favorite teams ever, like Jet and Cord or Flight Time and Big Easy or anything like that, but I'm still excited to see where this season goes and see how some teams do, see how some teams transition from Big Brother to The Amazing Race, or how teams transition from Survivor to The Amazing Race, and to see how they stack up against previous Amazing Race teams. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this season, and hopefully it turns out to be a good season. So that is going to do it for my cast assessment of The Amazing Race 31. So, what do you guys think about the cast? Make sure to let me know down in the comments below what teams should have been put in this season. Maybe instead of some other teams. Like, are there teams that should have been casted in this season over some other teams? Make sure to let me know down below. And make sure to subscribe to my channel for more content to come in the future. Hopefully I'll be starting my Survivor review series pretty soon, and maybe I'll do an Amazing Race review series as well. The only problem is, like, Survivor's now 38 seasons, The Amazing Race is 31, so that's a lot of reviews. But I will do it if you guys want me to do it. I know the Survivor videos are pretty popular on my channel, the couple I've done. So maybe I will at least do a Survivor Series review. But yeah, hopefully I'll get those started soon. But until next time, once again, my name is the California Cougar, And always remember, stay California cool. Peace.